Alright, let's talk about the season finale of Total Divas that was on last night, December 15th. During the time of the TLC pay-per-view, I had picture-in-picture on so I could watch both shows at the same time. Let's start off with John Cena. So John Cena can be an awesome boyfriend and a terrible boyfriend. He was awesome in last night's episode because he invited all of Nikki, his girlfriends, all of her friends over to his house in Florida. He paid for their tickets, and there was probably about like 8 to 10 of these girls. He took them all out to dinner. You know, they got to stay in his house, and he paid for everything. So in that aspect, he's an awesome boyfriend. But then at dinner, like, they get into real conversation, and he talks about how he doesn't want to get married, he doesn't want to have kids, and they're like grilling him. They're like, why not? Why not? You know, because they know that their friend Nikki, who's his girlfriend, Nikki Bella, does want to get married, does want to have kids, and she's basically sacrificing the life she wants to live with him. And I don't know, I kind of like felt bad, but at the same aspect, you know, he wants what he wants. There's some people out there that don't want to get married, don't want to have kids, and he happens to be one of those people. And either, you know, maybe one day down the road he'll change his mind, but he says that he's selfish, you know, and he knows he's selfish. He's a wrestler, and there's too many days on the road. He doesn't have time for this family life. He doesn't have time to be there for his kids. And he said he's even looked around the locker room and he's seen these professional wrestlers who do have children and don't have time for them, and he doesn't want to be one of those people. He doesn't want to have his kid be a statistic where they grow up without a father. So, rightfully so. Anyways, moving on now to Eva Marie, and she had a big role in tonight's episode. So pretty much she's been dating this guy for a couple of months, and he asked her to marry him. And she was like, yeah. And then she did everything backwards. Like, she was like, all right, now we have to go ask my parents for their blessing for you to marry me. And she takes off the ring, like, you know, he never asked her. And they went to go meet the family. They're sitting down, they have dinner, and oh my god, her brothers were hilarious. Like, this episode was hilarious because of Eva Marie's brothers. Like, they were ripping this guy apart. The fiance, they were ripping him apart. There was one thing he said at the dinner table that had me dying, because he was wearing a zip-up hoodie, but he didn't have a shirt underneath it, and they were like, how could you come to a dinner table without wearing a shirt? And I was like, oh my god, they're right. How could you come to a dinner table seriously? Like, you want to go meet the parents of the girl you want to marry, you better be dressing to impress. You better look your best. You know, you better come in there with the best attitude, not come in there with a hoodie on and no shirt and showing off your chest and your muscles. And I mean, he's a cute guy, but he should have definitely dressed more respectable for the family. But her brothers, they were hilarious. And then the next day, they woke up and they had breakfast, and that's when they decided to drop the bomb on the family, letting them know that, you know, he's there for the blessing. And pretty much the father turned to him and was like, no, flat no. You do not have my permission to marry my daughter. You know her a couple of months. You have her tattooed on your arm. Her name's tattooed on your arm. No, I don't know who you are. And then she goes off saying that, like, she's been engaged before, and her family's really protective of her. And she ends up taking the guy and leaving the house, and the mother comes out. She's like, don't leave like this, don't leave like this, don't do anything, you know, that the family will regret. And she decides in the car that they're just going to go to Vegas and elope. But then later on in the episode, she decides that her family is more important and to hold off on that. If it's meant to be, Eva, it'll be. There's no rush to get married. Relax, take it easy. You're just starting to grow in the WWE. You don't need to make any mistakes. Take it easy. Funkadactyls were not in this episode as much as they should have been. I love the Funkadactyls. I think they're awesome. Trinity, Naomi, and the Usos, but they weren't in it enough. And now let's talk about the biggest thing in this episode, which was Daniel Bryan and Brie Bella. So they go off into the woods, and they're taking in the sights. They're in California, and she's like, oh, would you ever think about moving to California since he lives in Washington, since it's so beautiful where they were hiking? He's like, no, I still like Washington. And they're walking around, and like they see the ocean. It's vast, it's beautiful, all the colors. And he gets down on one knee, and he proposes to Brie Bella. It was beautiful. Might have had a tear in my eye. Really nice. And then they get all dressed up for dinner, and they're out in the middle of the forest, and their whole family shows up, and it's the first time, like, she actually gets to meet his whole family, and her family's there, her sister's there, and they sit down, they have a dinner. Then they show a lot of behind the scenes for Monday Night Raws, SmackDowns. I think there was even a main event one. And, I mean, that was really all that I wanted to talk about. I'm sure I'm missing a few things. Like I said, I was watching the TLC last night. John Cena lost. I'm so upset. What the heck? But let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below of Total Divas. And that was the finale, so until I think they got picked up for a second season. But we'll see when that airs. Luge Mania tonight. Bye, guys.